Joins us. Good evening, Donald. And you say Sony has no courage and no guts. What do you mean?
Well, look, number one, there are always two sides of a story, but it really gets to a point. It is extortion. They're saying things and doing things, and I think the bigger problem is if North Korea, who we think of as being very backward, and yet they're sort of like working on nuclear, but if North Korea has this kind of power that they can do things on the Internet that we have no idea what's happening, that is not a good thing. They seem to be pretty sophisticated, much more so than people would have thought. But the second side of the story is the movie is terrible, supposedly, according to the critics, and they are talking about the assassination of that country's leader, and in not a nice fashion. I mean, what they're saying happens to him is brutal. And, you know, if somebody took our president or our leaders and put that into a movie, I don't think our country would be very happy with it either, Greta.
You know, it's interesting, though, or not, I guess interesting is the wrong word to use, but it looks like the beginning of guerrilla cyber warfare. I mean, most countries have had the capability to do damage to other countries, but everybody has sort of held off. Now, all of a sudden, somebody has not held off. So how do we respond? What should Sony respond? The U.S. government respond? What should we do?
Well, I've been saying for a long time, you know, the Internet and the whole computer age is really a mixed bag. It makes life easier in some ways, but in a lot of ways it makes it much more complex. And I have an 8-year-old son who, frankly, is so good with the computer, it's incredible. I've never seen anything like it. And, you know, the kids are getting better and better, and people are getting better and better, and I don't think you can keep secrets anymore. You know, in the old days, if you're fighting a war, they have a sealed envelope that's brought over by a whole group of very powerful military people, and it's put into a safe. Now, you put something out over the Internet, you don't know who's reading it or who's watching it. So we're in a different age, but, you know, the computer is a mixed bag. There's no question about it.
But, Donald, this may be different. I mean, one thing we have to worry about the power grid. We have to worry about the banking system. We have to worry about Social Security numbers and everything. I mean, you know, do we just, now that this has been done, this is the first severe strike, cyber warfare against a big corporation. Should something be done? Should somehow we respond, whether it's Sony itself or the Obama administration?
I think this is just the beginning, Greta. From what everything and everybody tells me that really is well-versed, this could be just the beginning. This could be a whole different form of warfare, in a sense. And it's pretty frightening when North Korea seems to have a power that we don't understand, because right now our people don't understand how this happened.
So what do we do?
I guess we just have to be smarter than everybody else, and maybe we have to wean ourselves a little bit off the Internet. I mean, to a certain extent, we may have to wean ourselves off computers and go back to the old-fashioned way to a certain extent, because there is no safety or security with computers. People can break codes. They can break all sorts of any kind of check they seem to be able to break. And it's not only happening with Sony, it's happening with many other people. And, you know,
I'm surprised at you saying that, Donald. I'm actually surprised. I mean, because you're saying that, it sounds like you're saying we should sort of change, back down or whatever, you know, rather than try to sort of teach whoever the offender is. I mean, we're still trying to find out who did this. But rather than try to sort of nip it in the bud and send a message out there that this won't be tolerated, you think we should just change?
Greta, I'm saying that for a long period of time, things that come out on the Internet that people think are totally protected are not. I mean, look at the email. Look at the whole email situation. Other than the IRS, once you give an email, that email is there forever and ever, and you can always find it. Now, the IRS, of course, was different because something happened that was terrible there. How they got away with that one is really rather amazing. But other than that, the fact is we have no security, so we're going to have to do something. We're going to have to be a lot smarter than we are right now. But when it comes to security, you're not getting it on the Internet, and you're not getting it through computers anymore.